There are all kinds of people who speak positively about Christian nationalism. Some innocently think it means Christians who are patriotic. And what's wrong with that? And the Ten Commandments aren't that bad, right? They sound pretty good. Then there are people who think it's a majority Christian nation, so their views should prevail. And of course, you have those who think only Christians should have a say in politics and culture, and they want to see their version of Christianity reflected in our laws, outlawing anything gay or trans, banning abortion entirely, and forcing people into the mold of what they think life should be. I think all these versions are bad. The more innocent kinds give cover to the more invasive ones. They don't see how it could be so bad, and sometimes there's even a cruel indifference to what it would mean to people who are not them. So that's what we're looking at today: Christian nationalism, and where do we think this particular person fits along the continuum of acceptance or adherence to what that combination of words implies. Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm an atheist and a skeptic, and I am against Christian nationalism. Not against people being patriotic, not against Christians just out there living their lives, but against the intrusion into our lives that particular spectrum of ideology implies. And as I've said, it is a spectrum of belief, from naive people who unreflectingly think that this is an innocent position for patriotic Christians, all the way to people who want to change our laws and cultural norms to force people toward their morality. And I guess this is the point where we need to do the hashtag not all Christians. There are plenty of Christians of various denominations who see value in keeping our laws and culture secular and inclusive, not only of atheists like me, but of other religions and all the various other denominations of Christians. Because despite what some Christians say, if they say they're Christians, they're all true Christians in my mind. That's all you need to do. Declare yourself a Christian. Now, the innocent form of Christian nationalism may seem innocuous enough, but it's that indifference that allows terrible ideas to flourish. It gives cover to the more toxic elements, and sometimes it is the dog whistle that hardcore adherents use to pretend like their ideas are harmless. Oh, you don't like Christian nationalism, it's just because you hate patriotic Christians and you want to persecute us all. How can you tell the innocent from the disingenuous? Well, sometimes further utterances will reveal it, but maybe we can't know. I don't know what's in their minds. But anyway, the innocent forms still can help the toxic ones flourish. Today we're going to look at a call from Sam to the line with Seth Andrews and Dara, the Magic Skeptic. So today I want to see, where do we think Sam fits along this spectrum? Now the whole video clip is long, it's about a half an hour, and I think both Seth and Dara do a good job addressing a lot of the points, so I encourage you to watch the whole clip if it interests you. But we're only going to listen to some of Sam's parts, and I'm going to let it play out a bit so we can get Sam's full exposition.
Sam, out of Texas. Sam is a theist. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm a team Christian, and I was thinking about your earlier discussion that you had, and it came to my mind that about patriotism and everything, the way America truly was founded under God and as a Christian nation, and not only America, but when you really think about it, the entire West altogether. I mean, the first king of England, Athelstan, was a deep devout Christian. And he was the first king of England back in I think he was 27 or 37, something like that. So my point is that it's true to today, how the way you get a lot of people who go against America being a Christian nation. No, it was never a Christian nation. It was never a Christian nation. But it's evident today when you look at like Trump supporters who are Christian, they're, God, family, country, the churches, how they, always pray for their officers and soldiers that go off to war, and they're patriots. They want to vote in the elections, and they're America first, and they wave their flags and they celebrate. And it's always like the left, either the atheists or not really, because or liberals, whatever, atheist liberals. They're always like against America and even patriotism, because they call it a cult, like the England was saying. I forgot his name, but the point is that this country is evident today that it still is a Christian nation, because if it was up to non-Christians in the left, they would name America something completely different. They believe in open borders. They don't care about, they're humanist. They don't believe in direction. They just do whatever you want type of mentality. So I find that that's very, interesting in today's culture. And
I'm going to interrupt Sam here because at this point he goes off on a tangent and gets indignant about what was apparently a joke between Seth and another person that hosts the line, and how phones work, and something about not knowing how stuff works, so how can you figure out how the world works? And I guess you can't believe in a God until you figure out how God created absolutely everything. Anyway, it's a mess. And what we just listened to, what a jumble. This really is the product of an undisciplined mind who has taken in too much propaganda. Let's just take in a few points. So he was thinking about patriotism and everything. That kind of thing kind of tells you everything you need to know. It's like you're jumbling everything together. Come on, get your shit together. I realize it's a call. I shouldn't be hard on the guy, but it's just a funny thing to say patriotism and everything. He goes on to say that America was founded under God as a Christian nation, and not just America, but the entire West. Now, even if that were true, we could change our minds. Things could be founded under one principle, and then you can say, like, that principle isn't so good. We want something different. We think there's a better basis. So even if it were true, which it's not, again, we can decide to do something different. He says something about the first king of England, and I think he says the year 1927 or 37. If that's the England of Britain, you got to push that back about a millennium. I'm just guessing that was a verbal typo. Let's hope, anyway. He goes on, Trump supporters are God, family, country. Slogan much? I'm not sure if this is necessarily good. Now, God, I'm an atheist. I don't think God, so to me that's not good, not a good slogan. Family, I'm all for family. I'm all for you creating the family that you want, the way you want, the construction of a family that you think works for you. And if you don't want a family, I'm cool with that. And country, well, we need a country. I think, again, God, family, country, just a slogan. And for him, all these people are Christian, who pray for officers and soldiers who go to war. They are patriots, America first, celebrate, wave flags. Okay, so we'll talk about patriotism a little bit later in this video, but I find the notion of just praying for people, like, you get a lot of clout and credit for just saying words to a deity for stuff. How about really supporting these people by giving them good uniforms, making sure they're protected, not sending them in if you don't have to, these kinds of things. To me, this would be more patriotic. And I don't know, flag waving, so what? You can be thinking you hate your country and still wave a flag. So anyway, we go on. That's the good side of things. The left, and he says like left atheist or whatever, atheist liberals. So not a well-defined group of people. But they are against America and even patriotism because they call it a cult. So first of all, people who are atheists can be anywhere along the political spectrum. And there are people on the left who are religious and various kinds of religiosity, including very, very fundamentalist Christians. So anyway, but we don't call patriotism a cult. There are signs that Trumpism is a cult, and I don't think that we should confuse being a Trumpist for being patriotic. So anyway, we have a conflation of the left with atheism, which is completely fallacious. Again, atheists exist across the political spectrum. Sometimes I wish people would move beyond the surface of things or the preponderance of people to see people as individuals. But hey, people, what can I say? So Sam goes on to say that the evidence for a Christian nation is the left would call America something different. I have no idea what that means. I'm on the left, by the way, and I would think I would still call it America. I have no clue what that means. They believe in open borders. Sam does show a particular obsession with immigrants and open borders, and we'll see more of this in a bit. But I have to say, first of all, the wording, to believe in open borders. I mean, borders are things that we've set politically. They don't really exist in reality. We've decided where borders of countries are. That's a treaty issue. But I don't know anybody who think that our borders should be completely open, and I don't see any serious policy proposals put forth. The immigration system definitely needs fixing. I'm not one to deny it. And Congress did put a proposal out that Republicans tanked. Having said that, there are people who think that we could be more generous and letting more people in, if that's what you mean by open borders. By the way, not everybody, just more people. And you'd think Christians would be spearheading this campaign because one of Jesus's lessons was welcome the stranger, help the poor, feed the hungry, and so on. And overall, this is a more difficult question than just closed or open borders. I mean, you want people to be able to come in easily for tourism. You want foreign exchange students coming for experiences. You want companies to be able to get talent from abroad for a host of reasons. You want Americans to be able to travel abroad, to study and do business in other countries. And usually this means some kind of reciprocity. I would think that we would also want to make good on our stated principle to be a refuge and shelter to suffering people and welcome refugees and poor people. We are a rich enough nation, but here I'm stating my values. Having said that, I don't believe we should have totally open borders. I don't think just everybody should come on in, and I don't know anybody who does. I do think we need more people working along the border, in immigration, in courts, a variety of roles. All right, that's enough about that. It is a particular obsession of the right now, and Sam brings it up multiple times, and I think we've said enough. He goes on to say, they don't believe in direction. I have no idea what that is supposed to mean. I don't know if that means that they don't believe in forcing people to do what you think they should be doing. I don't know. I'm at a loss. And they just do whatever you want type of mentality. By the way, that's a Gina intrusion. She too is upset about Christian nationalism, I think. Or maybe it's just the bowl. I might have to pause and get her bowl filled, or she'll come back and yell some more. Anyway, I guess I don't see the problem with a whatever you want type of mentality. I mean, that's what freedom is. Oh, and I almost forgot. He said they don't care about, they're humanists. Oh, the horror. Why would that be so bad? So anyway, we're going to skip over the section again, the tangent about some phone thing. And then Seth Andrews goes over a few points about how the word God doesn't appear in the Constitution. Sam doesn't really know the Constitution. He has like, in God we trust on money. That's enough to prove we're a Christian nation. Seth also mentions some other documents that you might be aware of. Again, you can go watch the original video. We're going to go back in and see if Sam has some other points.
Anything else, Sam?
Yeah, you're misunderstanding what it is that I'm saying. Is that the people who did the experiment of America were Christian. It doesn't mean that they need to put this into their constitution. It's like, for instance, today, you got the Senate, you got the Congress. I'm sure there's many Christians that are in the Senate and the Congress, and I'm sure there's many that aren't. Now, some would say none of them are because they're a bunch of, cheats, but I'm not here to say anything like that. But you have professing Christians, you have who are not. Yet it is America. Right, what I'm telling you is that the ones who want to stand for America are the ones who are believers in God. The ones who want to destroy America with open borders.
All right, so some more propaganda. So people in Congress might not be Christians because they are cheats, as if Christians never cheat. I guess they wouldn't be real Christians or something. And the ones who want to stand for America are believers in God, and the ones who want to destroy America are for open borders. And again, with the open borders, so my first question, who wants to destroy America? Would open borders, in fact, destroy America? That's an assumption on someone's part. Someone has defined America in some way that means having too much immigration would destroy it. And to repeat, I am not in favor of open borders. I don't know anyone who is, and I don't see any policies to make it so. You might disagree with current policies, but the border is not open. We deport people. We turn people away. We reject people all the time. Now, my main issue with all this is the stereotyping and what appears to be a wholesale ingurgitation of right-wing propaganda that Christians are good and that they're the ones who stand for America, while evil atheists on the left or whatever, to quote deep thinker Sam from a few minutes ago, want to destroy America, whatever that means. Vague language that's dangerous. It's an otherizing of the left, of atheists, and so on. These are not the same group. Again, I'm going to repeat myself on that. But if you want a change on immigration policy, you do in fact want to change the country somehow. How are you sure that your proposals are standing for America? How did you determine that the person who disagrees with you wants to destroy America? Now, I do have to interject here that a lot of times immigration policy discussions are a cover for racism. And I don't know if that's Sam's position or not. Maybe he really is concerned with illegal immigration, but a lot of times people hide other less savory parts of their beliefs with this obsession, let's just call it that. So I'll come back to some final thoughts on patriotism in a moment, but I want to play another bit where Sam characterizes the line as a bunch of people who just fall in line, ha ha ha, behind Matt Dillahunty.
I'll just end with this, just because I've been listening to this show, I'd say, for about a couple of years, off and on. I'd say I'm not a religious listener, but the point is I've heard Matt. I know his policies. He's open border, pro Biden, all that, and everyone who he's had on here as a guest, whenever he's on his political rant, is always the same with him. They agree with him. I never hear anyone disagree with him. And that's the reason why I come across as atheist. Now, I know that liberals are usually, liberals don't come out as atheists. They're on TV and everything, but they're the same in the sense of progressive, what I would say, policies, no borders, legalize all immigrants, and so on, this and this and that. Which is, I mean, I don't have any problem with legal immigrants. That's totally fine. But I'm just talking about the millions that are coming across the border. Okay, so, but the issue is that that's where I'm coming across, because you guys are the platform. I mean, you guys are probably one of the biggest platforms of atheists. That's the only reason you're like the only one I even really listen to. But if I choose to. But the point is that everyone who I hear comes on here always talks about the policies of Joe Biden and the how messed up America is. It's just all garbage, and it's all messed up and blah blah blah. And that's why I just thought it was funny, because when you look at the other side, they're the ones that are always from the church. They say that the church, they're all crazy Christians. They love America and hate everyone else. And that's the only reason why I say it's the proof is in the pudding that this is still a Christian nation. When, can you imagine 250 years ago how the founding was, when 95% of this country said they were Christian?
I don't know what to make of this characterization of people who talk on the line. I watch it from time to time. I really enjoy it. I like a lot of the people that talk on it. Now, I know a lot of people have a beef with Matt Dillahunty in particular because he's pretty outspoken and he can get kind of riled up. But I think that all the people who come on the line have their own perspectives and ways of thinking about things. That there would be some commonalities is not surprising, because I believe that the way the line works is somebody contacts them, that there's a central sort of organization, and they reach out and people agree to be on. So, I think they're going for a certain type of person. I don't think that's just because of Matt Dillahunty, let's just say. But do people on the line all talk about how America is messed up and garbage? I haven't heard that. I don't think I've ever heard that. Now, the discussion usually centers around whatever the callers have to say, whatever their questions are or their impressions, and there are going to be disagreements. And especially if these are disagreements that are along the lines of, being anti-LGBTQ or anti-abortion, that might get a little heated and people might kind of characterize the United States as being a bit of a shit show. But, is that what their full characterization of the U.S. is? I don't know. And Sam's impression of Christians as loving America and hating everyone else? Wow, kind of on the nose. Now, my own impression is that Sam has cherry-picked moments to feed into his pre-existing beliefs. And apparently the current obsession is immigration and the worry that it could destroy America. He claims he's only concerned with the illegality, the undocumented people. He's fine with legal immigration. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's a cover from a racist belief or an idea that some immigrants who are here legally don't deserve that status. It's not really about legality so much as what people think the law should be. But enough about Sam's reading of propaganda. I do want to talk about patriotism and why some on the left are not in your face about their love of country. For me, it's very simple. I've seen patriotism be used as a strategy to force others to adhere unquestioningly to someone's beliefs. It's the old America, love it or leave it stance. If I think improvements can be made, cultural conservatives have told me, oh, you must not love your country. And by the way, Dara speaks to this in a part of the clip I'm not showing. Both he and Seth do a good job of raising many of the points I think need to be raised. Dara actually asks Sam if he would stand up to a policy that meant hauling Jews to concentration camps. And after some farting around, Sam says he would stand up to the government. Let's just hope that's true. You know, you can love your country. There's Gina again. Gina is still screaming. I think she's upset about this topic too. Or maybe again, it's just the bowl. I have filled the bowl, by the way, so if people think that she's being mistreated, she's not. You know, you can love your country and hate the way the government acts. You can love your country and wish it weren't embroiled in some war or other. Gina, do you want to be on YouTube? So back to this. You know, you can love your country and think there are better ways to treat marginalized people. You can have different opinions about immigration policy. And once again, for those in the cheap seats, atheism has nothing to do with your political beliefs. Really, religion in general doesn't. You will find atheists who are libertarian or conservative, Christians, including evangelicals, who are somewhere on the left. Policy positions are not binaries. It's not open borders or totally closed. There is, in fact, a whole spectrum of thoughts you can have on how movements of all kinds occurs across national borders, and that's nearly the same for all policies. In a lot of ways, Christian nationalists are busybodies who want to control other people's lives, and I think this came out early in Sam's exposition, although he didn't really talk about that much. That liberals don't believe in direction and a do-whatever-you-want mentality. Now, I would agree I want this. As long as you're not harming others or their property, what's the problem? Some things are personal choices about identity or how you want to lead your life or how you want your family structured. It's not my business. But in Christianity, you know, we're sinful creatures who need to follow God's commands. The freedom they see in the U.S. is not to lead lives according to our own values and principles, but to adhere to a narrow notion of what life is supposed to be. So back to my original question, where does Sam fit on the Christian nationalism scale? Is he some innocent person who thinks being a Christian who loves your country is good and doesn't see any problem if our laws adhere to someone's idea of what God wants? Or is he further along somewhere? I'm interested in reading your comments, so leave it below, and while you're down there, you can like, subscribe, and do all the YouTube stuffing. Pour out your libations to Algoritmo and his consort Algorithma. And if you like what I do, you can buy me a coffee. That link is also in the description below. Or some kibble for my kitties, like Gina, who is yelling right now somewhere in the house to have her bowl filled yet again. And I don't know what's coming up next, but you know it's going to be stupid. Bye for now.